fear has a purpose, and its purpose is to protect the body. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to protect the body. However, we're in that fight or flight energy of wanting to protect the body. Most of us, if we're really honest, a lot. And it's this energy that's meant to protect us when tigers are chasing us in the jungle, and it's become almost 24/7 part of the human experience. So, but it does have a purpose, and it does get transmuted into passion and into tingles when it is welcomed. So, first step with fear: honor it, acknowledge it, say, hello, fear, you are here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting the best for me. Thank you for wanting to keep me safe. I feel you. I'm breathing into you. The thing that trips us up is when we stop breathing, when we stop opening and expanding into fear, when we stop like welcoming it, resisting fear, which is like resisting resistance. It's what started the whole thing. It's what slowed down matter enough so that started to become solid, started to become bodies. And this is what the Course in Miracles says. We told a joke on ourselves, the joke of separation, and we forgot to laugh. We forgot to allow it, and started to take it really seriously. And then we started to resist our resistance, and created a whole lot of rules, a lot of shoulds about how we need to walk on eggshells in order to get back to where we never left. And I think the spiritual Dr. Seuss would come in handy here. Let me go get the book. Fear. Yes. All right. When you were young and most things were quite swell, fear knocked on your door with a product to sell. And like most good salesmen, he cast quite a spell while selling insurance called All Is Not Well. The exact opposite of let all things be exactly as they are was introduced. Now, all is not well came in its own case. The case that there's danger all over the place. And after you bought it, your all is not well, you felt it your duty to share and to tell. And so mouth to mouth was how fear procreated, with no YouTube or Facebook to disseminate it. Fear soon went viral all over the globe, using old-time religion to dispense and promote. Because fear knew the way to get globally big was to drive a false wedge between God and her kids. And that's how he came to be so domineering, by replacing God loving with you must be God fearing. This whole idea that fear is spread, I see it a lot on the internet. Whenever I take a look, I see it in the conversations about vaccinations or no vaccinations, what to eat, what not to eat, how to interpret A Course in Miracles, and of course, who the president is and what that means to our future, and how it's, if you can just step back from all of these little discussions and just see fear playing itself out, creating division, creating the illusion of division. This is how fear creates or miscreates, is divide and conquer. Create, pro-life, pro-choice, When you step back from that and look at that, why would you need to choose? Can you be pro-life and pro-choice? I think Jesus is. But the whole idea that there is something real that could possibly be threatened is the basis for fear's ministry. And it is a ministry. Let's read on. Fear and religion began co-creating and cooked up a symbol of fear they called Satan, as if infinite love had a worthy opponent with pitchfork in hand who could strike any moment. The concept was great for maintaining control, making people behave as if they're on parole. Because when God-fearing people are scared for their souls, they put much more silver and gold in the bowls. It occurs to me that when I was first introduced to A Course in Miracles, I saw the ego as like the devil. Like, okay, there's something inside me called the ego, and it doesn't have my best interests in mind. And my job is to rise above it, overcome it, love it to pieces. Well, that may be true, but the whole idea of like I need an enemy. And that enemy is no longer outside me. It's not the devil. It's not anyone. It's my ego. And now that I know the enemy is within, I can fight the battles within me. But even that had to go. The idea that there is an enemy that has any reality whatsoever, whether you call it ego, devil, my addictive personality, the pain in my head, whatever you make wrong, whatever you do not let all things be exactly as they are, is projection and is making it harder for you to feel the perfection of this beautiful, beautiful, incredible moment. And the birds sing about it, and you can tune into it in so many different ways: music, poetry, silence. It's just the inner media that wants to broadcast all is well is all over the place. It's just your little willingness is all that's necessary. And then you will start tuning in to WGOD rather than, WEGO. So I thought this was going to be about all emotions, but it seems to be that I'm moving into the fear thing. And many of us know that every emotion except love is fear. Has it in the background. So business was booming and fear kept on spreading, and fear loved the credit the devil was getting, because fear much prefers to stay hidden from view and play hide and seek in its host, which is you. I'm not afraid, I'm just angry, it shouts. I've been mistreated and need to speak out. I'm not afraid. I'm upset and I'm caring. There's so many disguises that fear enjoys wearing. He's proud of his wardrobe because he designed it. Though he wouldn't admit it, fear's quite clothes-minded. So he doesn't realize he's often dressed funny, wearing layers of worry, looking like a stress bunny. And when you're not looking, he dresses you, too, in stress bunny outfits that don't become you. I like that line a lot, because these stress bunny outfits that we're wearing do not become you. They can't compete. You are you. And then there's also the double entendre. When clothes don't match your spirit, we say, oh, that doesn't become you. I like that. So, because when you wear worry, it wears tight and stiff, from statically clinging to imagined what ifs. Worst case scenarios fill your projector. Then fear says, don't worry, I'll be your protector. So, in a sense, fear is a protection plan once you accept the misunderstanding that there's something to resist, that there's something that's part of something other than God, something other than perfection, something other than love. And once you buy that, then you have all these products you can buy, all these medical diagnoses, all the right foods and the right this and the right that, and you get to follow fear's plan for your salvation. And then his plan, he says, he shows you his life insurance policy and says, here's what you get when you sign up with me. You get top-notch, around-the-clock security, an armored alarm system on your body. And if you're harassed, I'm your personal bouncer. And for making decisions, I'll be your guidance counselor. No more will I let you take risks that could hurt you. Just stick with me, kid. I won't desert you. Now, all of your loved ones have already signed. Don't be a black sheep. Join the flock. You'll be fine. Do you remember looking around you and seeing like all of your loved ones, all of your friends, just the whole world like squeezed into a box of limitations, and at some point just deciding, I guess this is it. You know, there seems to be no other alternatives. So I'm going to buy the fear. I'm going to play the game. And here we are, unplaying the game. Yeah. So you signed up and breathed a sigh of relief because you thought you would feel safer with fear as your chief. That's what fear promises. I'm going to help you feel safe. But the contract had fine print, too fine to be seen. And you didn't read the clause that denied you your dreams. From then on, heart's desires that came to be birthed were blocked by your fears before they could reach earth. It seemed your new policy's whole life protection was more birth controlling than most contraception. How could you conceive of a life more abundant with fear in your ear like a cable news pundit who's yelling, I'm telling the truth, fair and balanced, while drowning out most of your love, gifts, and talents? Now, fear says, get real. That's his bottom line thing. It's interesting that when I started to turn away from my parents, the Dr. Seuss book is Oh, the Places Your Ego Will Go. It's my book. I channeled Dr. Seuss. I remember when my father sat me down and said, Scott, you're not living in the real world. And I was just beginning to open up to A Course in Miracles, which had this whole section on the real world. And it was very different than my father's real world. Very scary for my father to see me moving away from what he thought was the only safe way to go about the world. Now, fear says get real. That's his bottom line thing. And fear learned what's real from his friend Stephen King, whose collection of books make outstanding addictions. By the way, he's James' favorite author. As long as you realize you are reading fiction, which is what you can do with your own fear collection. Just transfer them all to your mind's fiction section. Because no matter how gripping a tale fear can tell, its original premise that all is not well is a bit topsy-turvy in this universe and deserves to be laughed off the face of the earth. And this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Just like bringing fear to the light and recognizing how it doesn't deserve recognition, doesn't deserve reality, it doesn't deserve arguing. It deserves laughter. Laughter. And this is what happens. When you are laughing, you let in the light, which makes fear pack his bags and get on the next flight. Because he needs to feel needed. And if you choose joy, well, then fear has no choice but to be unemployed. Fear used to feel needed when lions were chasing you, gathering speed with intentions of tasting you. But nowadays, all of the lions we find are fictional cats roaming round in our minds. And when you stop feeding the cats in your head, they just go away because they're not getting fed. And with a clear head, you are free now to choose a channel that's broadcasting much better news. So you get off your couch, turn off the TV, and tune into WLOVE. It's free of commercials, nothing to sell. Just a steady reminder that all is still well. And all is quite well is insurance enough. You're already covered by a plan you can trust. You've got Universal, the original plan. And there's never a moment you're not in good hands. You're no longer buying fear's insurance scam because you know every moment you're in good hands. You're in God's hands. So let's say you wake up tomorrow and get cancer. And I'm not going to say God forbid, because it's one of an infinite amount of possibilities. Let's say you wake up and you get cancer, or you discover that you have cancer. And there's a voice inside that says, oh no. There's a voice inside that says, oh yes. And they're both equally loud and equally just captivating, depending on which way you turn the dial on the thing. You can turn it to, this is my possible way out of here. Thank God I am going to be with you, God. Thank you for this way out. And if it's not my way out, then it's going to bless me in ways I have no clue. This is a journey I'm beginning. I choose to hold the hands of love and to allow this experience to deepen my experience of love. Whether I get to hold on to a body or not is beside the point. I had a partner whose mother died of cancer, and she was in the hospital knitting hats and making all kinds of things for the nurses. She considered it a ministry, not a death sentence. And she died. Her body died. But she went with a smile. And we can all go with a smile. Letting all things be exactly as they are is the practice. And I just see if I can come back around to the feelings. There's, for some of us, resistance to joy. And we look at Vicky, who made joy her her guru in a sense, like, hey, I'm valuing joy, and anything else, it has no value, it has no meaning for me. And we can all do that. But she also spends time with tears, is honest about judgments, and doesn't sweep things under the rug when it's not so joyful. So good role modeling there. So what is there? There's fear, anger, sadness, and joy. Those are the basic four food groups. Which one brings up the most all is not well? Which one makes you think that resistance, or in some way, like, I've got to take this out with the garbage? Which emotion is the hardest to let flow through your body and to come to fruition or completion and to give you its gifts? Assuming that all emotions have a gift in it. So you tell me. Marianne Williamson might say that the thing that we are most afraid of, the thing that we find the hardest to allow, is love. Or let's say our brilliance, our light. That if we would just see each other and ourselves as the blazing light we are, lighting up this world and all worlds. Like, if we just saw the amount of light that comes out of our aura and shoots into all corners of the universe. Some people wake up in the morning and they pray. They ask their hearts to be full of love for everybody, and that's great. It's a great conscious practice. And whether you do it or not, you are here radiating the light of the world. You already are fulfilling your function. The question is, are you conscious of it and are you celebrating it? But you can't do it wrong. You cannot do it wrong.
Scott, I would say for me it's fear because I'm afraid of who I am. I'm afraid of being wrong. I'm afraid of hurting people. I have lots of layers to that.
Yeah.
But it, like you say, it's a grace to be able to acknowledge it and to deal with it because as I learn to let my feelings be, I allow myself to be. And as I allow myself to be, I experience more joy. I see more love within myself and around myself. And I so appreciate what you shared today because, yeah, I find it to be true. And I encourage everyone to allow yourself to express yourself in your words, in your actions, in your life. Just being who you are and letting things be is not as difficult as we make it out.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And like you said, those lions are in our minds and they will go away if you don't feed them. So let's stop feeding the lions
Mm.
and let's start
Mhm.
feeding the joy. Let's start feeding the little kitties. I mean, whenever I see a little kitten, unless it's grabbing on my arm, I'm usually pretty joyful. I'm happy and feel love. And so let's look at the world with a different perspective because it's all in our minds anyway. And I played a fantastic game. I mean, I've made a career of collecting diseases. I've made a career of hurting myself. I've done it. I've succeeded, and I need to acknowledge that I succeeded at miscreation because I have. And I think
Oh,
most of us have.
yeah.
And I think it's time to celebrate and go, woohoo! We did it. We're alive now. We're resurrected now. We're here. We can enjoy a life. It's okay. That's what I wanted to say and share. Thank you, Scott.
Well, Linda, you flocked to fear, and you graduated from its courses here. It's time to celebrate, 'cause we did graduate from all the craziness that is down here. We've graduated from the school of fear. You can be your destiny without dragging your personal history. Just let things be exactly what they'll be, and you'll start feeling peace and harmony. Just let all things be exactly as they are. Everything is perfect and you're such a shining star. The light of the world doesn't care at all. Just have yourself a ball. You're illuminating, celebrating, graduating, no more waiting for some pie in the sky. Just being who you are, it's gotten you this far, and it will take you all the way home. Now I have a 10 o'clock, so I have to abruptly stop. So that's all you'll hear today from Scott.
Amen, brother.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Next
Thank
week,
you.
next week, y'all.